Hello, my name is Chris Louie, and I am an online MAG student living in Seattle, Washington. I currently work 2 part-time jobs. I'm an elderly caregiver and also a job coach for developmentally disabled adults. My oldest client is 98 years old. My goal and dream would be to bring a wonderful living concept for those with Alzheimer's disease to the United States. I have included a clip in this presentation. Seeing my many clients go through the horrific progression of Alzheimer's has pushed me to ensure that they still actively participate as much as they can in their lives and have dignity until their very last breath. My presentation is on the clinical diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease, report of the NINCDS and the ADRDA work groups under the sponsorship of the Department of Health and Human Services Task Force of Alzheimer's disease. Doctors from both these groups gathered to establish clinical criteria for the research of Alzheimer's and for correct diagnosis of the onset and progressive impairment of this terminal illness. The only true diagnosis of Alzheimer's is made by an autopsy, as there is no lab test to undeniably diagnose the disease. The criteria that was established describe the diagnosis of probable, possible, and definite Alzheimer's, which include the collection of a detailed physical and cognitive history, as well as having the patient go through neuropsychological tests, which include the mini mental exam and memory and attention assessments to provide confirmatory evidence and progression of the disease. Doctors also need to exclude all other causes of cognitive decline, such as depression, medication interactions, Parkinson's disease, and chronic illnesses to ensure a correct diagnosis. A significant pro is the realization of how important it was to establish a universal criteria for the diagnosis of Alzheimer's, because 20% of people diagnosed with the disease are found at autopsy to be misdiagnosed. Also, by using the original criteria, the Alzheimer's Association and National Institute on Aging had a solid baseline to revise and update as new information is discovered. And again, because of the establishment of the criteria, in 2010, Medicare added a yearly wellness benefit to assess cognitive impairment for signs of early detection of Alzheimer's. The only true con that I came up with is that the article is old, but I would like to state that because of my elderly caregiving experience, I'm aware that physicians do not regularly apply the criteria or take note of family observations during visits. If primary care physicians are resistant to the awareness of cognitive impairment, patients will not be referred to the proper specialists. In my opinion, this is a very big con. Popular television shows such as The Sopranos, Law & Order SVU, and Grey's Anatomy have all addressed the topic of Alzheimer's in their storylines. Comedian and actor Seth Rogen spoke before Congress to emphasize the importance of Alzheimer's funding. And the Alzheimer's Association has incorporated popular actors, musicians, and athletes, all who have family members with Alzheimer's, to enlighten fans about this disease and to help raise funds for its continued research. And since it's currently football season, I wanted to include this historic judgment. Ex-football players and the NFL have tentatively come up with a $765 million settlement for players who suffered head injuries due to the fan-loving, bone-crushing hits made during their careers. Notably $5 million for an Alzheimer's diagnosis and $3 million for dementia. It was noted that the NFL masked the dangers of brain injuries the players faced as they made huge profits. Recently, a federal judge has questioned the adequacy of this amount because so many players are continuing to come forward with career-related brain injuries. Meanwhile, the NFL has been incorporating changes to ensure the safety of its players. The future of Alzheimer's care is in a model developed back in 1992 in the Netherlands. A dementia village called Hojve is a living facility where individuals diagnosed with severe Alzheimer's can actively live the rest of their lives with dignity, something institutions can't give them. As stated in my introduction, I would like to bring this model to the Seattle area and hopefully throughout the United States. Since I don't want to go over my allotted time of my presentation, if I can ask you all to view the hyperlink for a 4-minute synopsis of this great village, it would be appreciated. Here are 3 questions to think about. Should end-stage Alzheimer's patients who have trouble swallowing and can no longer sit upright continue taking medications that cause side effects such as nausea, vomiting, or diarrhea? Oregon and Washington have the Death with Dignity Act, where terminally ill patients can end their lives and die with dignity. Should this choice be given to people in all states? And finally, Alzheimer's patients tend to wander, especially during the middle of the night. Should these individuals be remanded behind locked doors as most currently are? What does being locked in do to the dignity of Alzheimer's patients who are still physically functional? Here is a list of my references. Thank you so very much for listening to my presentation, and please view the clip on the Dementia Village and let me know how you like it. Bye, everybody.